This is the Team Clearcoat podcast. We're two friends finally doing something about our obsession with cars.
We're probably not doing it well, but it should be fun and we might actually learn something along the way. I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave, and this is our show. Ian?
Yes, Dave.
How are you?
I am well.
This is the Team Clearcoat podcast, and we have guests.
We do have guests. Somehow we've trapped two more people in your basement.
So this is Adrian and Erica.
Hello.
And they are here because they drive hearses.
And you stalked them on the internet.
That's
what the internet's for.
Yeah.
So it was Halloween. Let's paint a picture here. Okay. Let's paint a non-creepy picture. Okay. It's Halloween. All right. I'm driving over to my girlfriend's house. Right. I see a hearse, and it's like, oh, awesome. You can tell that it's customized. This is Erica's hearse, a Lincoln Continental, with like some stuff hanging in the windows, and I see a flash of leopard print, and I was like, this is awesome. I see this on Halloween, but your license plate is what caught my eye, Nosferatu. I was like, perfect, which is what allowed me to social media stalk you, and which is why you're now in my basement.
Work. Now we know.
Yeah. So just as like a preface, the whole way we were able to lure you guys here is that Ian and I's show, we talk about people that anybody that views their car as something beyond a commuting appliance. So anybody that throws those weird eyelashes on their headlights, or like puts like crazy stickers, or drives a hearse. And so we love that energy that somebody puts into something that elevates it beyond just being a car, just a commuting appliance. And hearses are an amazing example, and I can't believe we haven't talked to people that drive hearses before today.
And to have two hearses in one family is also
Yep.
a pretty unique thing, I think. So
His and hers.
his and hers. Hearse is a good.
He's
great
heard that joke so many times now. It's really getting old. But
I'm sure.
I have
Well,
to.
yeah, we're gonna touch on that too, on the jokes that you've heard that are old.
Absolutely, yeah.
But just how did you guys come to own hearses? Let's start there.
Yeah.
Well, both of us like a lot of the same stuff, and there's Harold and Maude. Is a fabulous, fabulous.
He's never
romantic.
seen it.
No.
Yeah.
No, I knew exactly what he was talking about. Like, I know the car.
Yeah.
Right.
And I know what it's about.
I'd say Harold and Maude, when I saw that, was when I personally was like,
Sure.
wow, that's all. I mean, a Hearse Jag would be
Yeah.
perfect.
Right.
But that would be like how I got into it and stuff, and then knowing Adrian and a lot of the same things. But you also worked for a funeral home, so.
Yeah, so you were a funeral director.
Yeah. I was a goth kid and a funeral director, and
Sure.
just always loved. Well, I liked hearses, from my teenage years of spooky shit, and
Right.
that was about it.
End of sentence.
Yeah, and then but then in my early 20s and stuff, I was a funeral director and was on the professional side of it, and so drove the car in the way it's meant to be driven.
Right.
I actually even got the chance back in I think it was like right around 2006, 2007, a brand new Cadillac Hearse, like it had just come off the line, still smelled like paint, and had 100 miles on it.
Whoa.
And I got to drive that from Kansas back to Denver,
Okay.
which was awesome, because doing like 120 in a Cadillac Hearse in Kansas, I was like, give me a ticket, it'll be worth it. I don't even care.
Right.
So yeah, and then but earlier this year, I saw a hearse on Craigslist, and just the Lincoln. I was like, I have a little extra money. It was affordable. It was in rough shape, whatever, but you don't buy one because you're gonna like make money off of it, really.
There you go. Yeah.
And so I brought it home, and I was
Mother's
like, here, Happy
Day.
Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. His Mother's Day and his birthday are right near each other.
Okay,
So it was like
yeah.
a double gift to both. I mean, I was speechless.
Sure.
I just literally stood there and just.
She thought I rented it at first.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
I did. I did think he rented it. So I was like, it's the middle of the night. What
When
the
do
heck
we have to
are
bring
we
it
going?
back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. My brain didn't know what direction to go in with it.
Right.
And then he kept saying, it's ours. I'm like, we own it? We own it? So it was amazing. It was crazy.
I don't want to fixate on. I don't mean to fixate on just
No,
one tiny detail in that story, but I want to explore the Craigslist transaction to buy a hearse in the middle of the night.
No, I didn't buy it in the middle of the night.
It was just when he got home.
Yeah, no, I found it on Craigslist and done the usual rigmarole, like, oh, when can we meet? Blah
Sure,
blah blah.
sure.
Show up, do the usual walk around, drive around the block,
Yep.
etc. Offer less, they take it.
It was
And
a
then-
girl, a young girl who
Yeah.
owned it.
Okay.
A
And,
little goth chick,
Sure.
So I bought it, but I had to go to work. So I just went to work, and then later that night, I had a friend come
Right.
and pick it up, and then I brought it home and didn't tell her about it, obviously. And
It was just in the driveway.
yeah, so we had that one, and then we were like, all right, now we're Hearse people, so we got to do Hearse stuff. And
I immediately was like, the Hearse Club. Well, so
Yeah, we want to
When
get
we
into
got
all
married-
that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
if you want to back up even farther, when we got married,
Paint a picture.
our theme was "Till Death Do Us Part."
Sure.
So we had everyone had to wear black except for me, and the coffin. We had little pop-up coffins, and I wanted to surprise him by renting a hearse because I knew there was a Denver Hearse Club because I
Sure.
Googled it. When you see hearses at a park, you're like, oh, there's something going on. You find out.
Right,
There's a Hearse
right.
Club. Okay.
Yeah.
So I reached out to Zach, who ran the Hearse Club, and I said, hey, can I rent the hearse? And he has several.
Okay.
I wanted kind of more of a traditional looking old one. But apparently that one was broken.
Okay.
So he showed up at our wedding with one that has bat wings on it that he's welded to the top
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
a flamethrower.
Oh, I think I have.
You might have seen him.
Yeah, I have
zombie
social
calls, I think,
circles
sometimes.
that have overlapped with some of his before.
Yes, he's got really good
Yeah,
hair.
the Denver Cacophony Society and
Yeah.
folks like that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So he was like, "What you got a hearse for thing?" So I mean,
Right.
This has been building. So
Yeah,
having a hearse as a present was amazing, and then going to join the Hearse Club ourselves. was
Sure.
kinda cool.
Sure. Yeah.
yeah, so we went to the Hearse Con and just hung out, looked around, like, hey, great. And
Yeah.
I think I actually even saw my hearse that I have now. I think I even saw it there and was like, oh man, I liked the seats and the
Sure.
interior,
Yeah.
And didn't think anything of it though, obviously. And a few days afterwards, she sends me a text, and it's forwarding a message that Zach, the guy that runs it, was like, hey, I have this 63 olds that I'm selling.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know he lives near, and I will kick myself forever if I don't at least look at it.
Yep. Yep.
And I went and I looked at it, and I saw the interior and just everything about it, because I love mid-century 60s style and all that. So I was
Huge
like,
MCM. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, this is amazing.
yeah.
So I was like, all right, let me talk to the wife first real quick, And so I come home, I'm like, all right, here's how I can afford to do this. Can I?
Right.
So
right.
she just,
He was
and her
like-
reaction was, oh, I figured you were going to drive it home.
Yeah,
I
I
just kind of
didn't-
thought you were gonna
Sure.
get it. So yeah, the next day went and picked it up, and then my neighbors had to deal with the fact that there's now two hearses.
2 hearses. Yeah. When we got the first one, I made them all gifts
Okay.
and
sure.
kind of. Because we just had 3 new couples move in within a
Okay.
year, so
Right.
I made
Right.
them gifts and left them notes and were like, "Hi, we're like the Addams family next door."
It's the equivalent of when you have a screaming kid on the airplane, you buy
Yeah.
the person next to you a drink.
yes,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
Sorry,
have tried,
guys.
yeah, and we try to be very good about parking. We have one of our cars in the driveway and we block our own car in.
Oh, okay.
We have a mid-century modern home.
Sure.
None of our cars actually fit in the driveway in the
Right.
garage.
It's,
but
yeah, so
Right.
we play a lot of Tetris with
Yeah.
our cars.
Right. Right.
we
yeah.
try to be
Yeah.
respectful.
Yeah. No, that's fantastic. So yeah. So I want to get into the public's reception of seeing a hearse because
Right.
you don't see a hearse every day. You guys do, but I think it brings up a lot of feelings in people, and I want to talk about the social interactions that you have had, the reception, because anytime you see the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile, it just makes you happy, right? It's like seeing it's like seeing a Lamborghini or something, right?
Yeah.
Or a golden retriever puppy.
Yeah.
It's yes, my day is now better,
Yeah.
right? And I feel that way when I see a hearse. When I saw your Nosferatu, it made my day, right?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
right? This is somebody that's doing what Ian and I keep talking about,
Yeah.
right? And so, so let's talk about, the public reception and, all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, good and bad. So
Yeah.
Is there a language is there like a shared language of hearse drivers that you guys like give? You
Not
do like
so
a head
much.
nods or?
You know, it's funny because occasionally somebody will be like, "Oh, hey, do people get freaked out or creeped out by your car?"
Sure.
You know? And strangely, people usually smile, like they see it, like a lot like you. They're like, oh, because obviously you're not driving it for what it's intended for, which is a much different emotional state.
Of course.
So more than likely, my guess is people go, "Oh, somebody driving like this is probably interesting."
Right.
Or pretending to be. And and then
Welcome to our show. That's a good segue.
Yeah. There you go.
And I think what it does too for a lot of people is it opens up this kind of, oh, I always wondered, huh? Like, and then they feel like they can approach you and be like, hey, this car that I would normally not want to be anywhere near now is sitting in the King Soopers parking lot and having groceries loaded into it. What's up?
Right.
Or like in my case, I get a lot of people that are like, wow, that's a old car. They appreciate it for that.
Sure.
Or that's an Oldsmobile, which is kind of unique for the hearse aspect of it, which is usually Lincolns, Cadillacs, things like that. So when there's a hearse that isn't a Lincoln or a Cadillac, especially an older one, it tends to be a little more interesting because you don't see as many. Seeing a 1971 Cadillac hearse, seeing a 1971 Oldsmobile, you're like, that's different. It looks different. Everything about it has a different look and feel. Mine has this. To me, I look at it, I'm like, oh, this is like this cool 60s. You can see the station wagon underneath it. Whereas I've seen the Cadillacs where you're just like, that's exactly what it is. It's a hearse. There's you don't even see it as being a different just a regular car that's been chopped.
Sure.
Which is all they are, really. I mean, for the world, hearses are just customized cars. They're not. They're not anything else. They're a really big station wagon.
My mom doesn't like it.
Okay.
She didn't want to ride in it at all.
Okay. Just bad juju kind of feelings,
I think she's just older. She's closer to riding in one of these, so she's just not.
Right.
She doesn't get it. She doesn't like it at all. But she's been in mine because I've driven to her house and we have to go somewhere. She has no choice. And I usually go. I live 5 minutes away, so I mean, when that has happened, I'm usually, oh wait, we'll just change cars. 'Cause
Gotcha.
I know it does kind of creep around.
So do you have another vehicle other than your hearses?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So when for those days where you just don't want to think about something like that, you just don't want it to kind of be something that attracts attention or you have that energy.
When I have the kids with me, I have to have my Jeep, so that's what I.
And the kids can't ride in my car. It doesn't have seatbelts.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I'm working on putting them in, but so.
So we're safe with them.
Sure. Yeah. Responsible hearse ownership.
Boring toy cars. After you drive your cool car, and you're like, I have to drive this. I have this car with a steering wheel this big, and then I get into my Nissan. I'm like,
I bet.
Yeah, because I have a Jeep Wrangler, so it's like I'm sitting low in the hearse and then high in the Jeep. So, and the Jeep's a 6-speed stick, so this is my cushy weekend car.
Right.
It drives like a boat.
Right.
Literally. I mean, I feel like a little grandma.
it's a town car.
And everything. I have a leopard print coat and leopard print seats, so I just blend right in. And
She's a floating head.
It's so funny.
Right, because yours is essentially closer to a limo. Yours is probably closer to a stock car experience, right?
Mine is actually just it's a dynamic station wagon. When I stripped the roof to repaint it, you could actually see just the single weld across the roof where they had cut the back off to convert it to be able to have the door.
Okay.
But body-wise, normally with for instance, her car, I was saying earlier, it's a 99 Lincoln Town Car. So it's just a town car. Literally, they cut it in half and stretch it like a limo. Whereas mine, they just pretty much ripped out the interior. And so it makes it a lot easier in the classic car aspect of it to buy parts for it, because it didn't have any of those crazy conversions. If you needed to buy a new axle rod or whatever, that thing's going to be custom made. I just have to find a junkyard. Hopefully.
So do you know? And I'm sorry if you don't know, but were those bought from the factory? Was yours bought from GM, or was it a coach builder that did it?
It's actually a coach builder. I have all the documentation still in the car. There's a little metal stamp tag from the company Cotner Bevington that made the Hearse. So it has like the funeral home name and the manufacture date when they did it.
That's super cool.
But no, there's coach builders out there.
Right.
Hers was made by a company called Crystal Coach, who now makes mostly like limos and tour vans and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so yeah, there's companies that just specifically do it. So they'll take a brand new car off the lot, you know, from the manufacturer, take it into their facility, do all the customizing, do the interior, you know, because there's a lot that goes into it. There's putting on a new roof, vinyl, the interior is, you know, very specific.
Yeah.
So
well, and making a car longer is not trivial.
No, they don't turn on a dime either.
But on the flip side of that, for instance, like her rear passenger window has a big old piece of plastic in there right now because the window is broken and it's custom. Like you can't just go, oh, I need a Lincoln Town Car window.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to find somebody that can cut it and everything to the specifications, and hers is curved, so it makes it even harder.
Yeah.
So right now it's plastic.
Sure.
In that side.
So you'll find with a lot of Hearse owners, they'll hoard stuff.
Oh, okay. Let's get. So Ian has a Volkswagen and a Saab. I have a Saab, and so like Saab owners are very similar in that we just hoard parts, right?
Because Saab doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
Yeah. They're called slobs, right? I mean,
exactly. Yeah. And so Hearse owners as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So and like, is Hearse Con like a large like swap meet for that? Is there an aspect of that, or is it more like presentation and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's more like a car show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's some people who are really into funeral paraphernalia as well as the hearses. So we made friends with another couple that have two hearses as well.
Hearse couples friends.
Yes. It's sort of weird because they're like much older, so it's sort of just seeing our future kind of.
No way.
Yeah,
okay.
It was
all
funny.
right.
So,
hopefully
but they were more into the paraphernalia as well. They had all sorts of like the flags and the I don't know.
Gotcha.
Just
okay. People
stuff.
that like get into that stuff. Okay.
And a lot of the Hearse owners also had coffins, like real legit coffins in there.
Yeah.
There were people selling the wreaths and stuff.
Okay.
You get custom wreaths. So yeah, there are a certain amount of people who were definitely into that side of it.
Right.
Then there were more the classic hearses, so that was more a classic car feel. And then you had the obvious funny, this car's silly. The one of the owners of a comic book shop nearby here has one that he's painted green and it has stitching on it and red. Yeah, it looks like Frankenstein. So and there's a couple of those. One of them was a monster hearse.
Yeah.
So there was a good mix of all different stuff. At the time, ours, we hadn't really decked it out yet, my 99 Lincoln.
Sure.
So ours was just kind of there, but there was a lot of people who were very interested in it. We even got an offer from one guy to buy it.
Okay.
Right then and there.
Yeah, his mom and he had just opened a small funeral home, and they noticed it was a Lincoln, which is not necessarily rare, but it's not as common, obviously, as the Cadillacs.
Sure.
And, he was an African-American gentleman, and just from my prior experience, Lincolns seem to be more popular, in those funeral services. So I was like, oh, well, hey, that'd be great if it was being used, I totally would think that was awesome. But once I pointed out, all the work it needed,
it wasn't as interesting anymore. But
if you're going to be a professional, this probably isn't the right car for you. And
right.
thankfully, I was able to talk to him and be like, I know exactly what you want. And, So it's but it's interesting because you do get the two different
the
groups of people
of Hearse
and then you
ownership.
find and then you get the people that kind of meet in the middle. But there's the I want this car because it has some sort of creepy aspect to it, and I like funeral stuff because whatever.
Right, just a more morbid kind
this
of.
Is just a cool custom unique car.
Yeah,
and,
right.
I like it for that. And then there's people that like us that are kind of in the middle,
little column A, little column B, the little Hearse mixtape.
Yeah.
I think the spectrum that I described before you guys got here is that I was anticipating was goth kid to rockabilly band manager.
Right.
I gotta drive the drums
he
around.
He wasn't a rockabilly band.
There is a joke about rockabilly that says that's where all the old goths and punks go to retire and die. So, and it's true, absolutely. All of my goth friends and I, we all went through the rockabilly thing, and Yeah.
And the goth thing. It's sort of
my car
I was
is
debating
both,
on black lipstick or not,
Me
but
too.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Have you ever had to pick somebody up from an urgent care or an emergency room?
oh no,
Not
that
with
would be
these.
funny. If you want to call us,
But
if we
yes,
get a
I
random
have.
text from one of you guys, hey,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
you want to play practical joke on somebody?
And it's
call
funny,
us.
I forget a lot of the times, like when I'm driving around and stuff,
Yes.
that I'm
You
even
will
in a
forget
hearse.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Because
true.
I'm,
You're just driving.
I'm in a giant,
Right.
classic car, so my whole interior is just like a big car. I'm just looking at it like chrome and
Yeah,
you know,
it's just Oldsmobile from you forward.
Yeah, exactly. And that's it rides like
It's
a
true.
floating couch.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And just after all of the work I've put into it and all the pieces and things I've had to buy, like all I look at it as is like a 63 Oldsmobile Dynamic. I'm like,
Sure.
oh yeah, but it has this other element to it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
but I kind of lose that, and I'll have friends who are riding with me and they're just cracking up like, oh my god, everybody's looking, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, duh, like
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
And then you
uh,
get the stoplight and they roll down the thing and they say, do you have anybody dead in there?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And you say, not yet. Keep driving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So
It does happen all the time.
I did try to position myself next to you in traffic, and I was going to be like, I have a podcast. I just wanted to go on the show. Get in my basement. It's not weird. Like,
That's how we met.
That was his opening line as well,
Yeah.
yes. Get
You want to see my basement?
yeah. So, like, yeah, what are you sick of hearing? What do you like? Like, what do you like? I mean, obviously,
I think it's fun. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, I mean, the attention's kind of fun. You don't
Sure.
drive any kind of flashy car of any kind
Right.
if you don't want some attention.
You're exactly right.
So, yes, I mean, it's fun. People usually smile. I've never had anybody, give me a weird look or anything.
Right.
Usually it's smiles, waves. I've had a homeless guy kind of come up to the passenger side, and I didn't notice him because I was at a stoplight like 2 rows in. And
Sure.
so he came off like his little perch and over a few rows to come in to get to me. So he was looking in the back of it and then ran off. So I don't know if he said anything, I don't know. But
Okay.
and then I did also get kind of not chased. I got yelled at work because they thought it was a commercial vehicle. So they sent out a whole email and were like, excuse me, is the owner of the Hearse in the building? And I, emailed back the facility manager. I'm like, it's just my car. Is
Right,
it okay?
right.
And he's like, oh, okay, no, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't a commercial vehicle parking on our property. And I was like,
okay. Yeah.
well,
okay.
Okay, hold on a second. So they thought that somebody
In the
was
middle, like all day, was just hanging out in there. I don't know.
Right.
That's a very
Yeah.
bad funeral director, right?
Yeah, no
Like,
kidding, right? Hanging out in DTC in an office
In
building.
the summer.
like-
This was
Yeah.
after I got it in May. So, yeah.
You should have just replied like, "Oh no, my client's gone bad."
You're like, is
Yeah,
anybody
does
in
it
the back?
smell?
And they're like, no. Be like, are you sure?
I was supposed to drop that off this morning. No. And then the next day I was sitting outside near the car because I would put stuff in the back, open it up, and just
Sure.
like hang out. And
That's an awesome place to hang out.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
It's
my
like a
little
camper van. Yeah.
Exactly. It's my little
Yeah.
camper. So I was hanging out, having a good time outside in the sun in the office park, and one of their corporate lawyers that works in our building came by and he's like, excuse me, you can't park here. And I'm like, I work here. And he's like,
Right.
all just confused, that befuddled, like, that doesn't make sense, you know?
Right. Right.
And I'm like, I do your expense reports. And he just still, and just shuffled off. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of freaked him out.
Yeah.
But now it's finally, I think, circulated through the whole building. We had Halloween.
Sure.
He showed up with his Hearse for fun. So, like,
Nice.
we were dressed up. It was,
Yeah.
now everybody knows I'm the Hearse girl.
Okay.
And
okay.
they all want to see inside of it. I mean, everybody always wants to jump in and
Yeah.
Yeah.
take pictures. I mean, they think it's funny. You know,
Yeah.
It's cool.
It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not something you get to
great.
see every day. I mean,
You're
you know,
exactly right.
the 2 times possibly you'll see a hearse if you're not into it is a funeral or by chance you see somebody driving one. Like that's
Right,
it.
right.
I mean, when else are you going to
It's
see
true.
one?
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, I mean, I park my hearse in front of our shop in Golden all the time, and people
Right.
go by and take pictures.
Of
and,
course.
you know, whatnot. And I'm always happy to let people look in it and
Yeah.
like, hey,
Yeah.
look, it's a big empty car.
Yours is pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
I love just the interior design in the back,
detail.
especially like that jump seat in the back just kills me. I love everything about it. Like I love the way that it's finished, and I love the little like single leg underneath it to keep it up. It's fantastic.
And the ashtrays on both sides,
Yes.
so
Ashtrays,
you and the dead guy can both smoke.
And the one thing I love too that like I don't know, it's just me, but is the like chrome strips along the side, just like super clean line. Everything's super just like streamlined in there.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have to do that.
Right.
They chose to throw those embellishments in it.
Right.
Right. Because who are they for?
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, they're for the families.
Yeah.
To feel
you know,
like, they're getting
it gives them that feeling of, you know,
Yeah.
like
luxury
you said,
and stuff.
the roof
Yeah.
being with the starburst. I mean, that is just beautiful.
I mean,
Beautiful.
the old hearses in the early days, you know, horse drawn and stuff. I mean, it was just literally a display case. Was
right,
all it was.
glass on all sides.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I've noticed a lot of newer hearses are going back to kind of the style of just all windows, not so much a solid top with landaus.
Oh yeah, I've noticed that. Like because I've seen one and seen the coffin.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't
More
remember
like
seeing that before.
old-fashioned.
Yeah.
The new ones are. If you Google like what the modern hearses look like, they're just kind of odd. They don't have that. To me, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm kind of biased in style, but they just don't have that like feel to them anymore. They're kind of like they're overly souped up. It's like they put a bunch of crap together all of a sudden. They're like, look
like
at
a
this, it
party
has
bus
like
or something.
27 windows, but we still have landau bars. And then I even saw one that had like windows on the front of the roof, which is like,
weird.
it's like they don't need a sunroof. I don't get what's going on
Right.
here, but
It's like a greenhouse then.
That's to make sure they're not vampires.
There we go.
Gets it directly.
Get
right.
some sun.
Yeah.
Just to double check.
And it's the other thing along those lines that always cracks me up with hearses in the professional versus outside ownership is when you buy a brand new hearse, if you were to go today and buy a brand new hearse, probably looking $80,000 to $115,000.
Okay.
Right? So let's say in '99, her Lincoln Continental hearse, probably $75,000 to $80,000, I'll guess.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
$1,800. Like the depreciation on those once it leaves the professional setting, is insane.
Yeah.
Right.
You
can pick them up for pretty low price.
So
I've actually been thinking about doing that because I want to get into karting, like go-karting, and I have a kid that is about to be the age where he could do go-karts, and I feel like it would be a fantastic go-kart hauler.
Yeah, some ramps right up into the back.
Now you see how big they are in the back.
Yeah, it'd be a pretty a cool and stylish way to haul the carts around.
Yeah.
And if you found one cheap enough, you could just rip out the back.
Yeah.
Like you can gut out that tray. That's another foot of space.
Yeah, we saw one that was exactly like mine, where they gutted the back and they put a whole bench seat in, kind of shaped like a 7 or an L.
Yeah.
So that you could get in the back.
Kind of like a limo.
Yeah, you get in the passenger side door, or you can get on the back side, and they had like a little coffin-shaped table. So, yeah, you can totally rip the whole back out and do whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
His face, he's like, project.
Yeah, smash cut to our Craigslist searches like an hour from now.
But that's one thing that always just I find really interesting is how it goes from even in the time of like 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
It goes down $80,000.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas a normal car in 10 to 20 years goes down
half to a fourth. Yeah.
And I mean I could probably go find like a 2001 Cadillac Hearse that's privately owned. Probably pick it up for like $2,000-$3,000 depending on the mileage.
That's crazy. I had no idea.
So do you guys know what Lemons racing is? It's this whole like accessible version of racing on racetracks with cars that you are only allowed to buy for $500.
Oh wow!
And somebody has to have had a hearse.
There's been hearses.
Okay,
Yeah.
well that's why, because they can get them for a song.
Yeah, exactly.
No, absolutely. Yeah, so it's a 24 Hours of Lemons is a play on the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
Right.
And so it's endurance racing that.
Yes. Yeah,
It's
my
hilarious.
dad was a race car driver in Lime Rock and Sebring. And
Oh,
stuff.
awesome.
Yeah,
wow.
He raced against Mario Andretti and Steve McQueen.
That's all. Do you know what like series he was in? Like,
No, I'm not good with remembering the dates, but yeah.
well, I just mean more like, was it like sports cars or open wheel or?
He just said it was the 24-hour, the endurance racing Indy cars with the were one of the ones he did with the fat tires.
Oh, yeah,
wicker
wow.
cigar.
That's awesome.
But then also sort of stock built things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So it's in the blood to love cars.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
does that side of the family get the Hearse thing a little bit more, or is it just your mom that doesn't like it? Or?
My mom was so about them, and I think it was that, like, her fear of the Hearse,
Sure.
as well as maybe like financially, she thinks there's other things we could be better investing. But I kept telling her, like, these are not expensive vehicles.
Right.
But so I think she just, when she decided I don't like them, my dad isn't allowed to like them as much.
Okay.
Like, he's poked
okay.
and looked at them. He's come over, and I thought for sure when he got the old, classic car, my dad would get all excited, but I think he's just not allowed to.
Okay.
Because he's a former mechanic and former race car driver, so yeah, you think he'd be all over it, but
Interesting.
I know.
Yeah.
He's 83. He's well trained, so he can't do it. My mom says no. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
We'll gloss over the family counseling aspect.
Yeah.
So just to like put a bow on like the financial aspect of it. So like anytime you see, like, it's such a, like, it's an easy go-to trope in a movie for like a goth individual, like a morose person, they drive a Hearse, right? Now we need to go back to all those movies and look at them as fiscally responsible individuals.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
It's, yeah, you watch 6 Feet Under. It's like, yeah, they gave her the old,
Right.
Yeah, she painted it green, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
fun.
responsible.
Right.
Yeah, adulting.
It's a gas guzzler, so if you
Yeah.
give it
Sure.
to a kid, they're gonna have all their money's gonna be blown on gas, so they can't
Right.
do
Don't
anything
give
bad.
your kids a Hearse. It's a party wagon.
No, don't give your kids
Okay,
a
maybe
minivan.
that's-
maker.
I didn't think
Yeah.
of that aspect. I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no
No
you put a goth girl in
minivans.
the back of your Hearse, you're gonna have goth grandbabies.
Little batlings.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my favorite show we've ever
Well,
Oh.
All right,
Man,
so
okay.
I had another question about the Hearse community.
Yes.
So, like in kind of like the sports car community or whatever, there are certain groups that we kind of like look askance at, like the people that like stance their cars or whatever like that. Are there similar like sort of perceived hierarchies within the Hearse community? Because you talked about how some of them kind of go like jokey, and then it sounded like HearseCon had a mix of recreational Hearsers and professional Hearsers.
There wasn't really any professional Hearses there because funeral directors can be really uptight douches, and like they think like, oh my god, owning a funeral car outside the funeral business is so disrespectful.
Oh,
blah, blah,
like
blah.
kind of sacrilegious. Okay.
And I know this from experience. When I worked at Olinger, they were that way.
Hence
And,
the low resale value.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah.
right.
And but as far as what we've experienced and having become friends with some of the Hearse community, and I knew some of them even before, a couple of them were clients of mine and stuff.
Sure. Sure.
He's a tattoo
But
artist.
Yeah.
everybody's really because it is something that is very heavily influenced by like the goth community and kind of those fringe kind of groups, is that nobody really gives a shit. Like
Right.
we're all
Right.
there because we like these cars, we like the culture, it's fun. Nobody's there like, oh, my car is like this much compared to yours, or this much, I've done this and that, and there's no animosity. It's like, hey, cool car, like what you did,
Right.
Nobody's like, oh, look at that one, like you could show up to a Hearse event in a beat up rust bucket, Hearse you found on a field that somehow you got running, and people are like, holy crap, that's amazing. Like,
That's awesome.
so
That's really cool.
it's
Yeah.
more of it's very communal,
Yeah.
and the nice thing
Sure.
with like the whole Hearse club that they have here in Colorado is it's not something we're like, oh, hey, we're having an event, be here. It's like, hey, we're having an event, show up if you want. You
Yeah.
don't
Sure.
have to. It's not a, card carrying, jacket wearing kind of thing. It's just,
Yeah.
oh, you got a Hearse, here's what's going on, show up, it'd be cool if you can.
Yeah.
So everybody I've met so far, just really decent people,
That's
we all,
Oh, awesome.
we all have something wrong with us. And,
We all do.
So, but as far as what we experience and having become friends with some of the Hearse community, and I knew some of them even before, a couple of them were clients of mine and stuff.
Sure.
we just all have something wrong with us together.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly. I mean, that's what one of our pet projects with this show is kind of convincing the rest of car culture that that's how it should be, because there's so many elements of car cultures that like don't talk to each other. You know,
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
sports car people don't talk to
Yeah.
off-roader people, and off-roader people don't talk to truck people. And
Well, how
Yeah.
does anybody learn anything?
Yeah.
Right.
right?
You know,
Right.
like, and that's just a really lame way to live in general.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, right?
It'd be like
right?
me not talking to people because they don't have tattoos or something. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I could do that, just lose out on a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Go to soundtracks for when you're in your hearse to a hearse
We're
event.
totally opposite on that.
Okay. If you try to play REM Shiny Happy
Oh,
People,
God,
does
no,
your
no.
car just fire it
Yeah,
out?
no, I do like playing opposite music from what you would hear in a hearse, but
Okay.
not Shiny Happy People. Not that REM's bad. I went through my REM phase a long time ago.
Right.
But like when we were driving over here, I was listening to 90s rap, so like Biggie
Okay.
and stuff like that.
That's a fantastic
It was
soundtrack
just like
for
nice
hearse
and
rolling.
gangster, because
Yeah.
I'm low, it's all leopard, you know. it's just-
Yeah.
yeah. so,
Opulence.
yeah, I don't know if
Yeah.
you saw me. I was.
I can't see.
That's the only, yeah. There's no like your rear view.
Right,
Like there's
right.
a window way back
Yeah,
there.
there's a
I'll use the
curtain,
mirrors.
So you only
Yeah.
have about
Yeah.
this much space
Yeah.
versus
Right.
this much.
I was going to ask if one of your planned upgrades was going to be a backup camera.
Yeah.
I've seen it done.
That would be
Yeah. Christmas
good.
Mine on
presents.
hers.
Yeah.
Mine, I'm trying to keep get it as stock as
Yeah.
possible.
Sure,
I'm
sure.
surprised.
I did put a booming stereo system in mine though.
Yeah.
I did see the
Yeah.
speaker on the floorboard. Yeah.
Oh no! I also have a 10-inch sub bolted to the partition right behind my
Yes.
seat, and
So
another
that's-
speaker on the floor back there too.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So it
Nice.
bumps.
I'm sure. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that whole thing is basically just a speaker itself. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I get a back massage, if I'm blasting
Yeah.
something.
Nice.
So you go gangster rap where
Or gangster, or like happy bubbly music, but not shiny happy people.
Okay,
But yeah.
like-
But gangster rap definitely goes well with a hearse.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
In mine,
Sure.
is
It depends on the mood.
Yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes I want stuff that's like kind of booming. I listen to a lot of Portishead.
Yes. Yes.
two
And
big
then-
fans of Portishead.
Yeah.
So.
The Smiths all the time.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm really into. There's a band called Astra. They're female kind of synth
Yeah.
stuff, but I don't know, really all kinds of stuff. Sometimes it's just Pandora. Sometimes I want to listen to Lana Del Rey and cry.
Right,
It just
right.
really depends on the day.
Right. No. I get that. And I like that if you choose to do that, you will be someone else's story to their friend. Like,
Right.
not only did I see this like really pretty classic hearse, but the gentleman driving it was crying.
And I think it was Lana Del Rey.
I know, right? I've never seen so much mascara.
Right.
Well, I mean, one night I picked up a friend of mine I hadn't seen in a while, and he lives actually right over by here off of Colfax and Monaco, and
Sure.
so he hadn't seen the stereo yet or anything. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
dude, we gotta, cruise Colfax. It's
Yes.
Sunday night. And so I had some old horrorcore gangster rap from the 90s, like just stuff where they're singing about like cannibalism and driving
Okay.
hearses and smoking,
Okay.
formaldehyde cigarettes and stuff. Just crazy.
Like Brother Lynch hung?
No, this was like late 90s. Like Rizzo was in one of the band's Gravediggers
Oh,
and
yeah.
Flatliners
Okay.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Before ICP came and screwed everything
Sure.
up.
Sure.
But
Right.
so we were like bumping that and loud because
Right.
he's my best friend, so I don't care if I can't hear him. And so I cranked it up, and we're
Ian.
he just has it. He's like, I mean, he looked like a dog in the window. He's just like looking around outside because everybody's like turning, like, what the hell is that? And here comes
Yeah.
this loud bumping, hearse, and he's just cracking up and just like got this big old grin, like, oh my god, dude, oh my god, look at all this people.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's fun when like I get somebody, a passenger who's never been in a hearse before. and they're like,
Sure.
oh my god, this is like weird on so many levels. and, like,
Right.
they have a lot
Right.
of
It's
fun
an
riding around.
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's always fun. It's like seeing a horror movie with somebody that actually gets scared. You're
Okay.
like, oh yeah, there is something to this.
No, I love that. I love that. Yeah. What else you got, Ian? I do want to say, like, like you guys are doing hearse ownership so right. Like we're new to this, but like the fact that it's economical to begin with,
except for gas.
except for gas.
gas.
Hey,
But
yeah.
the Jeep, my
And,
Jeep Wrangler is almost the same gas mileage.
See, okay,
doesn't
It's
surprise me.
weight.
right, right,
And parts, which is
well, but it's
we also have that same problem, and our cars are not nearly as cool as Hearse's. So
right. But it's your second car. Like it's such a amazing second car. I'm sure you would have a different feeling about it if you had to drive it every day. If that was your
Right.
only means of transportation.
Oh
Well,
man,
I'd be
I would
worried.
cry.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
like that thing. I've put so much work in it, and just like, because I've been able to drive another car, I could have it sitting in my driveway
Right.
for a month while I'm doing stuff. But if I had to like work on that on the fly all the time, I'd
Right.
be on the side of the road
Yeah.
all the time.
Right,
Well,
right.
and you had the vapor lock happen
yeah.
in the summer, and that's
Got to experience vapor lock for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun.
Right
Yeah.
on Dartmouth and Santa Fe during rush hour.
There's no
Stopped right in
cars
the-
around there.
And it wasn't like I stopped at the, where I was at the stoplight. I went up a lane, so I was in the lane of Santa Fe, and then of course the light changes. I'm vapor locked. What am I going to do?
Right,
I
right.
had no idea what vapor lock even was because I just bought the car,
Sure.
just
sure.
had it tuned up. I'm thinking, oh, they screwed something up. I'm
Right.
like, freaking out. Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, you kind of got just dropped into the deep end of
Yeah.
car enthusiasm.
Oh, man.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I went from going, classic cars are really pretty, and I love chrome and curves,
Sure.
and pretty, old cars and stuff. To wow, these actually you have to like you can't just hop in and drive it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you
Right.
you can't just get in and be like, oh, I'm gonna drive this car. Like you have to feel. It's like driving a motorcycle, I would assume.
Right.
I've never driven one, but you have to constantly
Right.
like be aware of, oh, how's it
Yes.
sound? What's it
Yes.
feel like? What's going on over here? Do I have enough space to stop because it's 4,300 pounds?
Right.
Right.
On drum brakes.
Right, right.
So you have to have all of these things kind of in the back of your mind while you're driving.
Yeah.
And also like, hey, okay, so it does kind of drift, like
Yeah.
all of these things. So I have to make sure that I have enough space on all the sides, and I get real freaked out when there's like a semi over here and a car over
Sure.
here.
Right.
You have to drive.
Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you went from they don't make them like they used to sweet Jesus, I'm happy they don't make them like they used to.
But I actually prefer driving it, like just
Right.
the feel of it as I drive. It glides. I mean,
It,
Right.
it makes like just a grocery store trip special.
oh yeah, and
Yeah,
Right?
Oh, yeah.
the thing with all hearses, for the most part, is at the time they are made with luxury vehicles of the time.
Right, exactly. That's where you're starting
And
from.
it's so you're getting into a car that is going to feel good when you drive. It's going to be smooth and things like that. Usually it's not like you're going to get the high-end Cadillac that they turn into it. It's going to be the base model of whatever
Right,
it is.
right.
Because why the hell would you?
right.
get all
Put
the
all that
bells and
stuff to
whistles.
cut it, half of it off. Yeah.
But yeah, it's always a luxury car, so it's always going to drive nice if it's running properly. It's just going to.
Right,
You
right.
get in her car and you literally with all the fuzzy crap that she has in there. Seriously, you feel like you're driving in a
Big teddy bear.
grandma's,
Yeah,
grandma's
yeah.
Lincoln or some drag queen's Lincoln or something.
Right,
There we go.
I always love like how like those two things could be just completely interchangeable.
Oh yeah.
Like 90-year-old woman or drag
Drag
queen.
queen. Yeah. I know. I'm going to get that more and more as I age too. They'll be like, because the makeup's just going to get thicker and thicker and thicker as I get older. So
And everybody, since I'm still in the process of painting mine, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna paint it black," and I'm like, "No, I'm gonna make it like." I was telling them like it's gonna be like Gothic Mad Men, like it's just gonna
Yes.
be
Gothic
60s.
Mad Men. God, that's so perfect. God damn it.
you should see our
Adrian.
house. We have a 1955 mid-century modern house as well. So,
That's
yeah.
perfect. That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
You just take two things you like and,
Yeah.
There's no rules.
no.
Yeah, right? You're making them. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. The best second car. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. So, like, the sense of hearing that you have when you own a car like that, your hearing changes. It's,
yeah, his-
Yeah. So I've had several Saabs. So
Because you have to.
Right, exactly. So I was sitting at a stoplight and I heard this like, "Meep," and I was like, oh God, like, what is that, right? And I'm freaking out. And like, so you go through the typical stuff. Okay, like rev the engine. Does it change? Like, hit the brakes, like anything, and it wasn't changing. And I was like, what the hell is it? I had a coffee cup that had the lid sealed, and I drank
just whistling.
Yeah, and it was just like, like the air
Escaping,
pressure.
yeah.
And I was like, God damn it. Like, it was just like,
Or like if you have your radio on and there's like that one song that has just that weird like hum or something in the background, you're like,
Yeah.
you got to turn the radio down. Is that it?
Yeah.
Turned it, yeah.
When I bought the 63, when I first got it, the brakes were gone. Like, I didn't realize how gone they were.
Okay.
I was able to
but
brake
you
real
learned
hard.
quickly.
Yeah. So I had it for a couple days. I was like, all right, I know the brakes aren't good. Took it to a place, and like they called me like, hey, so if you'd been driving for like another day, these would be totally ruined, and it would have been like way, way more than it already was.
Sure.
But it didn't have a radio for a very long time because, like I said, you get the stock model of whatever car it is. So back at that time,
It was a wax cylinder.
luxury or not luxury, but add-ons to the car, what made it a little more valuable was things like a radio, things like a clock.
Yep.
So I had what's called a deletion plate over all of that, which are little pieces of
Yeah,
metal that they
yeah.
put over the spots where it can go. Wish somebody would have told me this before I bought other little things that I thought, I need to buy a new bevel for my dash to be able to put a clock in. Unbeknownst to me, I could have had just what was in there. Anyhow,
Okay.
I've learned a lot of things the hard way.
Welcome to car ownership.
Yeah.
As an enthusiast. Yeah, that's what it is.
It's crazy, but
And I spend all my money on home decor for the car, so that doesn't fit at all.
So I'd be driving with no radio or anything, so I heard nothing but the engine.
Right.
So I heard it before I got it tuned up when the timing was off, and I had to like put it in
Sure.
neutral every time I stopped, so it wouldn't stall out and all things like that. And then after it got tuned up and I'm driving it, it's like, it was really quiet, and I was like, oh my God, it's gonna stall.
This
on
is
me.
too quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when I got a radio and I turned it on, I couldn't hear anything, and my engine was running nicely, and everything was running like it should. I was like, oh my God. Is it running? Did I stall? Like I couldn't. Like it was the weirdest feeling having it. You know,
like Icarus flying towards.
yeah,
the
because
sun.
my senses were so. I was so used to hearing that revving engine the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking to myself, man, cars sure were loud back then. Like, how would anybody have a conversation? Well, because your car runs like shit and you don't have a radio.
We've talked about that before, about how like when your car is running well as an enthusiast, it's a worse feeling.
Yeah.
Because you're waiting for the thing. Because like usually you're managing something that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And when you're not, you're waiting. You're just anticipating the thing that's going to be fucked up.
The
and
arrival of the fucked
Well,
up.
and the worst is when you have something that's really messed up, so you alter the way you drive to make sure that you can continue driving with whatever the problem is, and then you get it fixed, and you're still trying to drive like that, and all of a sudden you're like, why am I neutral? Why can't I go? What's going on here? Like,
right.
And the worst too is, so, again, I'm a new owner to a classic car.
Right.
Shifting's different, everything's different. And I get my car tuned up. I'm super excited. Go to the gas station, put premium fuel in her. I'm going to drive up to Golden to get ready to go work. Turn my key, nothing. Literally nothing. Not even like a click, nothing, just dead. I'm freaking out. I call up the garage. I'm like, yeah, so I'm at the gas station. My car won't start. He's like, all right, I'll call you right back. And I'm like, there, and I look, and my shifter was slightly off of park.
Okay.
Just enough to where it wouldn't register and start.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, it started right up. I call him, like, oh my God, dumb as me. Yeah, it was like things like that. Like, you don't.
Right.
I've never experienced that with new cars.
It's like being dropped in Iceland, like next to Bjork, and now you have to speak Icelandic and like learn the culture. Yeah,
right.
Like, it is
music with
immersion.
her. Yeah,
Absolutely. Immersion therapy. Yeah.
So it definitely was 0 to 60, and there were times I even told her, I was like, "F this."
Sure.
I probably should just get rid of this thing.
That's why it's a second car, though. That's why it's your second car.
Right.
Well, she finally was like, because I bought this car and literally it was like, boom brakes, boom tune-up, boom, like, let's strip the paint, let's do the roof. I was like, I'm going to have this whole thing fully painted and fully restored, like, in 90 days. Got to do it. Like, right?
He called, like, every paint place in the world, and then it was like,
sure.
I'm just going to buy it all myself.
Paint is so expensive.
Oh, man, doing it yourself saves you, like, $16,000 to $27,000.
Yeah.
Like,
But now you know why, because it takes you.
Absolutely.
Forever.
And so, yeah, I had to learn, like, patience. Finally, she came to me and was like, look, you don't have a deadline. you're
Yeah.
killing yourself. Like I'd come in like just fucking like on the verge of tears, like
Yeah.
scars from me punching stuff.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
like, "What are you doing this to yourself for? Like it's supposed to be fun. Calm down." And so I was like, "All right." And I actually
Nice.
took like a whole week, like just didn't even
Yeah.
look at the stupid thing.
Yeah.
Well, and
See?
the other bad news that we have for you is that it's never going to be done.
Yep.
No.
Nope.
You're never going to be done with it. So
But every relationship needs to have some distance in it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right? And you
So-
find that quantity that works for you.
I do. So thankfully, I have a car I can sleep. Oh, you mean with the car? Yeah. I know.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, so it's been a learning experience for both of us. I mean, we had a incident with hers. I went to replace the headlights, on a. I'm like, oh, headlights on a '99,
Right, 'cause you
car?
think,
no
well,
big
it's the
deal. After all the
front.
crap,
Well, yeah,
I've
they're all
done.
like fogged
and they're
up
one
and
piece.
everything.
Like you take
so-
out one whole chunk
Yeah.
and you put
Yep.
another chunk in. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, got this.
Right.
After doing the olds, this is nothing. Like whatever plastic.
Oh, we
And,
see this going so wrong.
Yeah, so I open it up and there are like wires that don't belong that are like going into the headlights and all this, and I'm like, what the hell? And she's like, oh, it's probably just the alarm. Fuck it, just rip
Yeah,
them off.
we knew
we'll,
it had an
we'll do it
alarm
later.
system. 'cause
Okay.
there was a little
So
we
red
just
light
thought
on
it
the
was
dash,
like
so
the,
we were like, oh,
blinking.
just disconnect it.
So I take those out, put in the headlights, and they work.
Sure.
Right? We're like, awesome, let's go cruising, right? And we get in the car, go to start, it starts up fine. But like the dome light isn't turning off. Like, oh, that's weird. And all of a sudden I look and the headlights are doing like blinking on and off,
and we
the,
could
the
hear
tail lights
the
are
tail
blinking.
lights were blinking.
Okay.
And we
On.
could hear it like a strobe.
And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a
son of-
relay going someplace.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh my
We
God,
freaked out.
what did I do? I have effed up this car. I was like, all right, fine,
Right.
we can't drive it.
he just,
you know.
we couldn't get them to stop either, though.
Yeah.
Remember, we shut off the car and they were still going.
So
And we're like, we're going to burn out the battery.
I
So
figured,
he disconnected,
disconnected
the battery.
all this
Sure.
stuff. I thought I had just effed up the electrical in the car. I'm like, all right, fine. I messed it up. Okay.
Sure.
Call up a place. I'm like, hey, can you guys, take care of this car? Electrical issue. The guy's like, oh yeah, I don't have an opening for like another week.
Right.
Okay, fine.
Sure.
You know.
Sure. Second.
Finally
wow.
comes around. I get in there, take it in there, and he calls me up. He's like, yeah, man, I can't figure it out. And plus the battery kept dying. Like we had to jump the car.
Okay.
So we're
Yeah.
like, I'm thinking, oh wow, I have totally screwed the pooch on this. What did I do?
Right.
And so I go and they jump the car and I bring it home. I'm like, crap. So I take it to another mechanic that I had worked on my car. I'm like, hey, can you look at this? He's like, oh man. He's like, I have a 99 Lincoln Town Car. So I was like, your dome light takes a while to turn off. That's totally normal. It's a dimmer, blah, blah, blah. And he's like looking, he's like, man, everything looks okay. Looks in at the dashboard next to the steering wheel, like, you have your steering wheel
Yeah.
here,
Right.
you have your lower dash, and there's this one little toggle switch just sitting there. Like you wouldn't have thought to look for it unless you knew exactly that it was right there, right? There are procession lights. Flip the switch, and the procession lights go on.
So, yeah, we were freaking out in the car.
So he flips that
Nothing.
switch, and I'm like, are you effing kidding me? Wow. Like, dumber than dumb, because why wouldn't I have thought of that? I never had a car in my professional time, though. In defense, I didn't have a car that had that aspect. to it.
Sure.
Right.
So, he does. He's like, all right, I'll check your electrical. Turns out the battery needed to be recharged and stuff
Right,
anyway.
Yeah.
But it was just like,
Yeah, it's just
you
too
never
stupid.
would have you ever
Yeah,
thought there's
like-
some little
That's-
switch,
Right.
and it just so
And-
happens I hit my
because,
knee or
like,
something.
Yeah, and the dome
Yeah.
light just wasn't going off very fast, and
Sure.
we were hearing this. So, like, together we just it
Right.
snowballed in
Right.
our mind to the worst
The
scenario.
worst,
You jump
right.
to that when you
Right.
do have a car
Yes.
that's not
yes.
working properly. As soon as it makes that noise, you're like, shh. I'm
Right.
I'm 0-60. It's gonna be
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't
God.
drive it for almost a month, and everybody
Right.
at work's like, "Where's your Hearse?"
Where's your? Oh.
I was getting mad because he, it was taking so long, and we're like, "Oh God, what's wrong?" And yeah,
Yeah.
you just turn this switch here.
Oh man. God. That's so great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and just like if you can imagine, I mean, just that I am such a dumbass feeling after taking it to one garage and them going, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, they didn't figure it out
You know,
either, but
and it was just the coincidental timing of when it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
like had it been the day after, probably
Right.
would have been like, oh, hey, something. Or,
Right.
but just at that exact
When you were changing
time,
the headlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just because her car, I have no legroom in it because there's
Sure.
a partition, so the seat doesn't go all the way back.
Yeah.
So getting in and out, my knee just bumped.
Yep.
And
No, I get it. I mean, my story is not nearly as as dramatic as that. But do you remember when I called you and I had changed all of the units in my car from Fahrenheit to Celsius?
Yes. Yes.
And there's like one button sequence that you can do in older Volkswagens, and it changes everything from Fahrenheit. But it's maddening because you don't know like how I did it on accident.
Oh no!
Right. And plus you have a Volkswagen, so you're just more you're hearing for electrical problems. Right?
They're
Yeah.
notorious for that. It's
Yeah.
bad. It's bad. I carry around fuses with me because
I feel
yeah.
my friend had a old back in the late 90s. My friend had an old it was an 82 Rabbit.
Mhm.
Oh,
And the muffler
yeah.
was like gone on it, so it sounded like a Harley. We called it the Thunder Bunny. And
That's right.
he always used to joke because he'd have to get like some little tiny part here and there, and they're ridiculously expensive. And he'd always get, he's like,
Yeah.
they're getting back at us for the war. Like, you know?
It's totally true.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
totally true.
Yeah.
I think we've covered a lot of ground.
Yeah.
We're about to wrap it up, but I want to play. So we play a game on the show
Okay.
called FMK Car. So it's based off the game a lot of people know, Fuck, Marry, Kill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But we play it with cars instead of people. 'Cause we're
Sure.
nice.
Okay.
So in this game, we're gonna need the old
Yeah.
Google machine. So in this game, F means you drive it for a day.
Okay.
M means it's your new daily driver.
Okay.
And K means it goes to the crusher.
Gotcha.
Yep. So we'll
Okay.
give you 3 cars, and then you FMK those cars.
And this
All
is
right.
one from our archives. I figured this would fit well with. This has nothing to do with hearses,
Cool.
but kind of fits with like the mid-century modern thing. This one's called "The Future Is Now: Concept Cars from the 50s and 60s."
Oh, yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Love old concept cars.
So the first one is a 1955 Lincoln Futura concept.
Why is that
I've
first
heard
in
of
my
that.
Google search?
Probably
results?
because we've done
Oh,
this
is this
one
the
before.
Batmobile?
Yeah.
Well, it was a
It was
concept.
based. Yeah.
Well, the Batmobile was built off of.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Was this
the
And
one?
what were we
Yes.
for Halloween?
Yes.
So
I saw that. Yeah.
You saw it on my
Yes.
Instagram. Yeah, we
Yeah.
were. The
we were Adam
classics.
West and.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
Catwoman, yeah.
I love that era of Batman. So my father, like, he looked like Adam West. Like people would come up to him on
I
the
could
street.
see that. If you look at your face, you could. Yeah.
Yeah. So so I saw your Halloween pictures and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Love that.
Okay. All right.
All right, so the next one is a 1954 GM Firebird 1 with a
Okay.
gas turbine engine.
GM Firebird
Firebird.
So what's the
1.
first one?
That's the Lincoln Futura.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So there's the Firebird 1. Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like
That was a concept
So
car.
that looks like what my dad used to race, only without all that crap on it. But
Right.
Okay.
That's what I used to draw when I was 5.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's
Absolutely.
what concept cars like, and this
Yeah.
is what they would show up to with at the auto shows and be like, "This is what your car is going to look like in 5 years," which is not true.
Well, while we're still on this one, we all have to at least acknowledge the episode of The Simpsons where Homer designs the car.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
All right, and then the next one, I think you guys will really like, 1963 GM X Concept.
GM
X Concept.
X concept. This is the exciting part of the show where everybody hears
Yeah.
me type.
It's.
Okay.
I think this thing's
Ooh.
super rad.
Yeah, look at that.
That's
that-
Wow.
sexy.
Is
Well,
that
no,
that's
that's
a
the-
Corvette
no, that's not
Stingray.
it.
Oh, maybe we have to get off of fair use
Aw.
images to find it. GM X concept. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's still pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
look
very
at the back of
Bondish
that
car.
thing.
It is very.
Yeah.
That's
It's
Yeah.
super
Right.
cool.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so those are your choices. So you need to
So
FMK each one.
one
or
of them's
one of
your
them.
regular.
One of them's going to be your daily driver from now on. One of them you'll drive for a day, and then you got to crush the other one.
Yeah.
I can crush the one that looks like a rocket ship.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not really into that little guy.
Okay.
Okay.
But
All
then
right.
the other two.
So then, what do you do? Which one do you drive for a day? And we usually like to say what we would do with it for a day.
Well, none
I
of them
can't
have
see the
back
inside.
seats.
I
That's
know. I'm
not-
like, I can't see the inside of
Right.
either of them.
Let's say you
Well,
could
they probably didn't have-
leopard it up.
They
I'll tell you
probably
what
really
I
I'd say
didn't.
won't
I'd
be doing in
probably
those
drive
cars,
that one
apparently.
Yeah.
They probably didn't have functional interiors, honestly,
Yeah.
because they were
Yeah.
just concept cars.
That would the Batmobile one would be more my everyday car for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I
I can
think.
see that.
The one without a roof. Good choice.
In Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll move.
Yeah.
Palm Springs, here I come. A lot
That
of
would-
mid-century down there.
Yeah, that would
Fit
that
in
would be
well.
yeah, that'd be perfect for Palm Springs.
Yeah.
All right. So then for a day, then that means you do the
I do.
GMX concept.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That.
Yeah.
Look
Okay,
at that
so-
windshield.
So
Talk-
what do you do? I don't know if you would fit in the GMX concept.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I'd fit
Or
in
the
anything but
Firebird.
the Lincoln.
yeah.
I mean, even that rocket car might be a little sketchy.
Yeah. Just
That's
your
true.
head pressed up
The
against the
canopy.
dome.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of limits my choice. But let's just say that physics didn't exist.
And
Yeah.
you fit.
Yeah.
Right.
Or
like,
we
And
just
all
get a
of
bone
them-
saw. And
I
we'll
had
just
some
figure
sort
it
of
out.
like I had some sort of like
We are the
gelatinous
cleaner.
like body.
There you
know?
go. Yep.
Honestly, I would try that once. I would probably
Okay.
take that rocket car out once because plus
For
I
a
can't be the
day.
same as her. That'd be
I
boring.
mean,
rocket, come on, like
We
seriously.
could race.
Yeah.
We'd race for a day, him and
Yeah.
his rocket
Are you
ship.
kidding? I would take that thing and I'd make every cop in town follow me. I'd be like, catch up. Yeah,
There
let's
you
see.
go.
But at least they wouldn't shoot me because it's white.
Nope. You're exactly right. Yes.
So I'd probably have to daily driver, obviously, the Lincoln.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I'd definitely choose the Batman customization afterwards.
right.
yeah.
So I had actually, because of our Halloween, been reading up on this car.
Oh,
And,
God.
then there were a couple of other ones made from different cars
Right.
for
Sure.
the series, but the
Yeah.
original was the Lincoln, and he bought it for $1.
Oh,
I
no
didn't-
way.
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
bought it
realize
from the company. I can't remember all the logistics of it, but it was something like they weren't really going to do anything with it, kind of thing.
Right.
So yeah, he bought it for $1 and took it home and made the Batmobile.
And then they eventually moved to a GTO, right? Like later.
There was
I thought.
there was a Thunderbird and then I think a GTO.
Yeah, they
Okay.
used
Yeah.
a couple of different cars.
Yeah.
for
This is
publicity
like
and
the
stuff.
complete spectrum of GM in one picture. There's a Buick Enclave in the background, the most boring thing ever to exist,
Yeah.
and then this
all 21st
amazing.
century cars for
I
the most
know.
part.
Yeah.
We've been we were showing my son who's 8 The Birds
Okay.
by
Yeah.
Hitchcock, and we were watching it, and we were constantly like, oh, look at all the beautiful cars. And we
Right.
keep saying to them they were just cars.
Cars.
Right.
Right.
Like they didn't even.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't. I mean, no offense to the designers of cars today, but I can't imagine that in 30, 40 years, kids are going to be like, oh, look at that Enclave. It's so pretty.
Well, in total
Right.
offense of car designers today, design shit that doesn't look boring. When I bought
Right.
my Nissan, I have a Nissan Rogue. That's my
Okay.
daily
Yeah.
driver, 2014, I think. So I bought it. Before that, I had this little tiny Kia covered in stickers. Could see it from a mile away in any parking lot. I bought this.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
I bought this car, and it's silver, of course, because like every car nowadays is silver.
Yeah.
So I bought this silver Nissan Rogue, and literally, for probably 2 or 3 weeks when I bought it, I had to set off my alarm
Yeah.
to find it.
Hit the
because
panic button. Yeah.
It
'Cause
looked like every
everything
other
else, yeah.
car.
Right. Right.
You know, and it's like that's
Yeah.
so much. I mean, that's a lot of the reason growing up and everything. I really appreciate older cars because
Yeah.
Yeah.
they weren't
They're
boring,
unique.
and even though they were
Pretty.
mass produced, obviously
Right.
they had style. Each one was different. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
if you put a 1963 Oldsmobile and a 1963 like I don't know Pontiac or something next to each other, they're going to look vastly different.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put a 2014 Nissan Rogue and a 2014 like
Highlander.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all look the same
Yeah.
now. It's
which
just,
I mean is good in regards to like being completely inconspicuous when I'm driving down the road. That's
Sure.
nice.
Sure.
But
On
And
the plus side, they don't kill you now,
Right. And
which
airbags.
has a lot to do with why they all look the
Airbags.
same. But
right. Right.
yeah.
But still, right? There's things
How
like
hard
the
is it to
Nissan
mold
Juke
plastic
that's
into
just
the shape
weird.
of something neat.
Right? Yeah.
Or
I'd rather
the-
be dead than
the-
boring. I think we can all agree on that.
Oh.
Right?
We always joke that if you had a Subaru in Colorado, you would have to spray paint your social security number on it and maybe like a PIN number on top of that to
I
pick it
heard
out in the
about-
parking lot.
I heard about somebody I knew.
I tried to
that-
get into another Jeep one day when I was at Target because I have a
Somebody
black
did?
Jeep.
Yeah.
So does everybody else.
I can't remember if
Yeah.
it was something online that I saw posted or somebody told me this story, but I guess somebody literally did drive off with somebody else's Subaru
Okay.
Yeah.
with their keys
Yeah.
Okay.
because they clicked it and it went off. They had the same car and they brought it back to the person after they realized it wasn't their
Right.
car.
Like these radio presets are not
Right?
mine.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, that could happen. I mean,
That's a non-zero event.
Oh no, I had
yeah.
a '99 Subaru, and I could set off other people's alarms with my fob.
I had a
and other people could unlock my car. Other Subaru owners and I know of one person who had like an old Civic, and like the *90s.
Oh god.
Like the '90s Civics were basically just like. They're like the starter kit for car thieves, right?
Yeah.
They're like baby's first car thief.
Right.
It's the
experience.
cigarette of car. You just
just had to
flick
get
it.
past
You
the
bum it
club
from
on the-
somebody.
on the
Yeah.
thing,
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's
yeah,
why
you
they
just have
the
to
club.
unlock the club that was on the thing
Yeah.
and get that off. And
But they like you could use keys from like whatever Honda you wanted. Like it was just like swinger parties were just redundant because the bowl
They
just
all
didn't.
were.
Yeah.
yeah.
and back to Harold and Maude.
Uh-huh.
Maude carried around a set of keys.
Okay.
Remember, she had a whole set of keys, and she would just break into cars anywhere and take. And she took a Volkswagen Bug at one point.
Okay.
There
and
you
she
go.
ends up stealing the lead character's hearse,
Nice.
and that's
Nice.
how they meet.
Yeah. I had a friend of mine that had
Brought
a
it all back.
Jaguar
Yeah,
S-Type,
brought it all
and he hit his key fob one day, and a Volkswagen Jetta's car alarm.
Oh,
It was the same alarm
Yeah.
like unit.
Frequency,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Oh,
like,
man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like Jaguar and
So
Like,
weird.
Volkswagen.
Which one
Yeah.
do I want to take?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bad choice either way. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Well, I think that's it. I think we did a car show.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What would you guys like to plug? What would you like
Oh.
to send? Like
I
the
have two
tattoo
things-
studio.
Yeah, I have two things
yeah.
I have to plug.
Yeah. Obviously, Naughty by Nature.
Naughty by Nature, I make hats. Yes.
Yeah.
They're available at Gypsy Souls and at Paint the World on South Downing.
Okay.
And my coworkers who all listen to murder podcasts, I'd say KBB are the three of them. Casey and Bree and Brandy. So KBB, they're very into murder podcasts, and now I'm on a podcast in a strange basement covered with things that'll stop the blood from soaking into the walls. So it's
Sure.
kind of like that. So they're
well,
my two plugs.
I look forward to them being extremely disappointed in this show.
Right? No, they're excited. They're excited. And then my husband is a talented tattoo artist.
Yeah. Faith Tattoo in Golden.
Awesome.
Yeah. Crybaby Tattooer on Instagram.
Yeah. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
I love
Thank you
it.
very much. Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
thanks for
it's
coming
been
over.
fun.
Hey, I like Ian and I are kind of hapless at automotive journalism in general. And had we lined this up correctly, having a Hearse episode drop on Halloween would be fantastic. So maybe next Halloween we'll have you guys back.
Sure. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Next Halloween, I'm going to call it. We'll do an episode from the Hearse.
There you go.
Ooh,
Yes.
Why not?
There
Yeah.
you go.
Hearse cast.
Yeah,
You could drive around and ask people what they think.
it's perfect.
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 Awesome.
We'll get a
Yeah.
smoke machine and the whole thing.
Thank you guys.
I smoke enough.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Everyone else, I guess we'll do a tag at the end.
Yeah,
so-
we'll do it. We'll do a separate outro.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Goodbye.
Ian.
Dave, we're alone now. Again.
I think we're alone now.
Yes.
We had a fantastic time talking to Erica and Adrian.
Yeah, we did. And I think this episode and definitely the Ted Parks one from a few weeks ago
Yeah.
just proves the point that you should leave notes on car windows.
I was going to say you should be a weird social media stalker person and lure people into your basement.
right.
But I like the approach you're taking instead.
Yeah. It's the old school way of doing what you did, which was frankly creepy.
No, but if you see something that you're enthusiastic about, like let the person know.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about in our interview with them, like they enjoy seeing people that are enthusiastic about the things that they're enthusiastic about.
Right. And I think Adrian said something in particular that like really kind of resonated with me when it comes to like this whole way of how we got to talk to them in the first place and everything.
Sure.
Where he said, it's not that you know exactly who someone is when you see someone in a hearse, which was the example that he gave.
Right.
But they're probably interesting.
Right.
And so
Right.
if you see someone who's driving around in a car that's not a Corolla,
Right.
that's not just a car.
Somebody who has put thought and energy into it, taking it beyond just being a car.
Yeah, there's probably a story there, and it's
Yeah.
probably really interesting.
Right. Right.
So you should talk to that person.
Yeah.
They're usually very nice.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, leave notes on windshields and don't stalk people like Dave did. It turned out well this time.
This time. Yeah.
But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I hope we do lots more like it. Let us know if you liked it.
Yeah.
The TeamClearCoat.com. Oh wait, there's no the in there. I shouldn't have put that. TeamClearCoat.com.
Yep.
And all the media social.
Yep. Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff. Send us FMKcars, teamclearcoat@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Definitely do that.
Yep. Oh, and check out on the YouTube description, we'll have all of Adrian and Erica's plugs.
Yep.
For all of their stuffs.
Ventures.
And they're interesting people, so you should check that stuff out.
Yeah.
And I think that is it. Thank you, everyone. We love you.
Yeah, we love you.
Goodbye.
Oh, God. Now we have to play the outro music, Ian. I wasn't prepared for that. We love you, everybody.
Goodbye.